All right, let's go ahead and learn how to properly test this class. So there is a lot of things that we have to consider here, especially because we are now mocking the customer repository. And also, if I go back to the test, or actually the service, so right here, you see that we have quite some logic, and we have to make sure that we test every single branch, right? So we have this if statement right here, and within we have another if, and we also have this exception. And basically we want to test all of this. So let's go ahead and learn how to test it. So the first thing that we need to consider here is this mock right here. So let me actually put this like this so it's easy for you to see. So right here, because now we are mocking this customer repository, right? So because we are mocking this customer repository, we have to tell it what to return when a method is called, right? So in here we have select customer by phone number, and this returns obviously an optional of customer. So we have to tell our mock when you are being called with a given phone number, please return something. Because right here, so right here, you see that we are using the result coming from the mock, right? So let me actually show you what I mean. So if I go ahead and open up the test class, so right here, let's go ahead and simply test. So let's create a new test. So I've just pressed Control and then Enter, and it should, and then save new customer. So right here, let's start with a given. So given a customer, so customer, right? So we have a customer equals to new and then customer. Right here, let's simply say Mariam, and oops, I need to pass the actual UID or the ID. And right here, let's simply say the phone number is, so let's simply say phone and then number, and let's extract this to a variable, phone number, and right here let's simply say that this will be 0000 and then 99, right? So this is not a valid phone number, but you get the idea. So when we are given a customer, and let's go back to our service right here. So this is the method that we want to test. So this takes a customer registration request. So let's also create that. So now a request. So given a phone number and a customer. So right here, let's actually say the request will look like customer registration and then request, and then simply name a request equals to new customer registration request, and then pass the customer inside. So now what we're going to do here is the following. So I'm going to say when, so under test dot and then register new customer. I'm going to pass the request, and there we go. So now, so right here, so what I want is when our mock is called for select customer by phone number with a given number, we want to return an empty optional. So let's go ahead and simply here, so let's say given, so right here, let's press option and then enter, import static import from Mockito BDD. So there we go. So given, and then the repository, or actually customer repository dot, and then select customer by phone number. And this is why I have phone number as a variable dot, and right here simply say will, and then return, and then optional of empty, right? So let's also name this, or actually comment this, no customer with phone number passed, just like that. So this will return empty. And then when we register a new customer, let's go back. So right here, so this will be false, and then this will happen, right? So customer repository dot save and then request. So what we want to do in this scenario here, right, because this is the actual mock being called, we want to make sure that the mock receives the correct arguments. So the way we're going to do this is using an argument capture. So let's go ahead and simply right here, let's say add and then argument, or actually not argument, add and then capture and then private argument and then capture. And then right here, we want to capture a customer and then customer argument capture, just like that. So basically, so let me go back to the service. So right here, so basically the mock will receive a customer and we want to capture this request dot get customer, right? So now we are going to say then, so this is from Mockito, or actually BDD Mockito, and then customer repository dot should and then dot and then save. Now what we're going to do here is simply capture the actual value. So you can see that that save method receives a customer. So we want to say customer argument capture dot and then capture, right? So we are saying that then customer repository should save, and this is what happens, right? So customer repository should save and then the request dot get customer. So here we are simply capturing the customer. Now we can assert on that by simply saying customer argument capture dot get and then value. And you can see that if it's captured multiple times, it gets a list. So right here, customer argument capture value, you can give it a shorter name if you wish. Now let me simply go ahead and say assert that and then customer argument capture value dot is equal, comparing field by field, to guess what? Customer, right? So this initial customer that was sent with this customer registration request. So if I end this with semicolon, now let's run it, and you can see that it worked, right? So this is beautiful. And I'm just wondering if we can say is equal to. So let's say is equal to. So if I save this, so actually this also works, right? So is equal to works for this customer. So there we go. So I hope that you understood this process of creating the mock, and then right here we simply mocked the return when this function, when select customer by phone number was invoked, and then we actually said then at the end. So because this was empty, right, so this result here, or actually this if statement was empty, we said then should save, right? So the mock should have the save method invoked, and what we did was actually capture this value, right? So we captured the value, and then we did an assertion against the original customer that was sent along with this request. So if you have any questions on what we tested here, go ahead and drop me a message. Otherwise, let's move on.